earlier, and obviously I don't have a pen on me because when am I ever prepared? Okay, here's Mark 1. It's fresh off the printing press. We have some issues here. As you can see right here, we have some gaps. I'm pretty sure that's not, it might be from my design, so that's probably something we can fix. But for now, we're going to crack this thing off and we're going to clean it up a little bit, and we're just going to go ahead and just probably just cover it up a little bit of tape. Tape or glue, some hot glue, because hot glue is king, and run some tests. We have our new dock. So the way this thing is designed is just to sit, place your Steam Deck here, and we got a little ventilation hole right here. Notice that this shape looks very familiar, right? Cool thing about this is I designed grab the little things for this. Today we're going to be using this premium Noctua fan. It's the NF84X. The reason why we picked this one is mainly, oh my god, this thing is spilling all over the place. Is mainly because it was the only one that Amazon would deliver to me today. Unfortunately, this is a 12 volt fan. I wanted 5 volt, but that won't come till Friday, and I want to do this video now, so we're going to use this 12 volt. So, we're going to demod our Steam Deck. Notice I took the grill in the back off, and that was just because I needed to make sure it fit, because it probably wouldn't fit with this with the grill because of this lip. So this is kind of like a Frankenstein of a design. I spent about, I think, a better part of 4 hours redesigning it, and this is the first take, so I don't know if this is going to be great. Might end up just scrubbing this. So real quick, we just demodded our Steam Deck by covering up our ventilation hole. Very simple. Back to factory, but remember, thermal pads all over this thing. Thermal pads all over. And all we're going to do before we spend the time installing this fan is I just want to see how well this thing sits. And mainly, does it sit pretty flush to the back here? And wow, that fits pretty good. And it should be dead center. So there's a little bit of a gap here, but that's something I can easily fix on the next version. I can shrink this to be slightly thinner. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap there. I would say that's about 2 or 3 millimeters. I'll get my tester real quick. It's about 2.5 millimeters. Probably 3 millimeters. We'll shave 3 millimeters off the next one. But for this test, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fill that gap up a little bit. And what should I fill the gap up with? What should I fill the gap up with? I'll use some duct tape. Ooh, like that. Just do this a couple times. We're just doing this so it sits flush to the back. We want to make sure that it sits on the back plate as well as we can, so it's really flush against this. So I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but we want to make sure that this thing sits right there, because I designed this perfectly to fit over there. So I'm going to take this. Oh yeah, that works good. So there's no wobble in there. Sweet. Okay, cool. All right, so we know that's going to work. This piece of tape's going to work just fine. Let's put our Steam Deck away. We don't really need it yet. Next thing we're going to do is attach this Noctua fan. Design problem is how I'm going to get these things through. I can get them through this part. No problem. Okay, plan B. 2, 3, 4, kit. Can't really see that. I got it pinched on the other side. Just gonna do a little twisty. Bada bing, bada boom. So these Noctua fans are not cheap. This one was $13, roughly $15 with tax. I think $15.07 to be exact. That thing in, so that's another big design flaw. But I think we can resolve that relatively easy with our handy dandy hand drill with a drill bit. So we're gonna pop this thing in there. Oh, stole my drill bit. There we go. That doesn't do it. I don't know what will. Closer, the gap, the less gap you have, the better it is. So, boom, done. All right. So, I do intend on having some type of gasket here, some type of rubber. Haven't just thought of that yet. Like I said, this is just a prototype. Pretty sleek though. There we go. Don't move. Cool. Get out of my way. My little hot glue gun. Didn't end up needing it. This out of the way. This. Don't need this tape. Cool. So here we go. So the fan blows air, pulls air in from the back and pushes it through this hole. And this is a 12 volt. So I have this 12 volt. It actually is the 12 volt for my light, which now I don't have this desk lamp because I cannibalized it. Plugged it over here, my socket, and then we got it all wired up to here, which should in turn turn the fan on. Boom. Now we got some airflow. So principle behind this is Steam Deck sits back here. Ooh, don't watch out for the fan blade. And it just sits right there, and boom, you get fresh airflow blowing into your Steam Deck. And then right now, for now, we're just gonna put this thing on here because it is in fact not tight enough. And in the next version, I'm definitely gonna edit that. So it should be pretty close to dead center. Okay, the question is does this thing even work? So we're back. We're using this Steam Deck stand I found on Thingiverse. As you can see, the ventilation is clear. You know, we're not blocking it by any means. And also we covered up our fan mod. So we're pulling all our air from this bottom hole now. But remember, we still have our thermal pads here for better thermal dissipation. So it's pulling more heat from the heat sink into our heat pipe and blowing it out the top. And what we want to do is we're going to heat this thing up with a normal stock configuration. Remember, thermal pads, and see how hot the system overall gets. And then we'll go from there, and then we'll go ahead and attach it to our new dock, the one modified with a Noctua PWM A1040 whatever. and go ahead and see how well this thing will actually cool, if at all any better. Or question, is it better than our fan mod? That's my real question, because if it is, then this was just a complete waste of time and money. Okay guys, so we're here, regular resolution. I can't change the resolution for whatever reason. So it's 2880 by 800, which is the resolution of Steam Deck. Actually, it doesn't look too bad on the screen. We'll lift the camera up slightly. It looks pretty good. So remember, this is a 2K 60 hertz monitor. We're at 80 on the CPU and 78, 79 on GPU. Remember, I know I repeat myself a lot, there are thermal pads on this Steam Deck, so this is not going to be anywhere close to what you're going to get if you were to do this test on your own. So while this heats up, we're going to just talk about this thing a little bit more. So basically, this was essentially a phone holder design that I found on Thingiverse, and I've made some modifications to it. Obviously, I added to it, things like that, to add this fan. And the question is this fan going to allow us to cool ourselves down any better? But my bigger question is this fan mod better than our original fan mod? So that's the real question. I'm very curious. So oh my goodness, we have not even been running for 10 minutes. 5500 RPM, 79 and 81 on the CPU, which, like I said, yours is probably going to run a lot hotter because we have thermal pads. I always want to remind you that. And just running in dock mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch docks. Obviously, I don't have a pen on me because when am I ever prepared? 89, 81, 5500. Ah, so loud. Okay, what was the room temp? 17 degrees. Where'd my thermostat go? Thermostat. We're just using this. 17.6. And we don't have our probes or anything attached to this. I'm not doing that until we get the JSOX case, because those were a bitch to put on. Okay, so let's turn the fan on. All right, plug the fan in. Fan is on. I'll show you guys right now. It's spinning. See that? Oop, spinning. Pretty quiet, but this is still louder. I'll be quiet. You can hear the difference. The Steam Deck is the higher pitch noise. So what we're doing is we're pushing fresh air into the Steam Deck now, which is probably going to cool down, like, especially the SSD and the VRM and the MOSFET a lot more. But we're still at 5500 RPMs. Temps are all the same. Like, I'm just gonna try to feel. So one thing I am feeling a lot of is we're getting a lot of air getting pushed. Like, a lot of the air is not going into the Steam Deck, basically, all I'm saying. So I feel like a lot of air is just coming out the sides. And again, this is the Mark 1. We could definitely make that a lot better. But my initial impressions right now are not great. But let's hit the time lapse. Let's let this thing run for a little bit longer, and we'll see if we notice a difference. Okay, disappointed is a lack of a I'm very disappointed in this mod. Oh wow. This is a complete and utter failure. Okay, so let's just talk about it. No visible change. We stayed at 5500 RPM, 7981. Room temp, well, it's probably a little bit colder now. Actually, a little bit warmer, 0.4, 0.3, which is no real big issue. The only thing I could say that we could do better is there is a lot of air blowing out from the side. Not a lot, very minimal amount of air. But the issue, it just doesn't work. So the main issue with this thing is clearly pushing air through here, this ventilation, it just doesn't work. And we're getting a lot of air coming through this hole, like a lot of cold air too. A lot of cold air, and it's going right into this hole. What we could do is we could cut the vents out and see if that makes a huge difference. Probably will. Save that for part 2 of this. But we'll remod this. So there's no copper plate in here, just the thermal pads that we added to the heat shield. We're going to pull this tape off. Now we're going to pull all our air from the top. I'm going to disconnect this fan. And all I'm going to do is lay this on the table right now with this blocking it so it doesn't lay down. Notice the fan speed has dropped. Let's look at here on the screen. 69 on the GPU. All right, 72 on the CPU. Remember, we're coming off a 79 and an 81. Fan speed's at 4,100 RPMs, 3,800 RPMs. We're getting ridiculously good temperatures with just a hole where our fan is. I have no idea why Valve did it this way. I have no idea. So my 3 hours and 8 hours of printing and my $15 buying a Noctua fan. Let's go over here for closing. As cool as this thing is, and as good as this thing works, it blows air. It blows a lot of air through here. And it's a great design. I'm going to refine it a little bit more. There's some issues here and there. I'm going to try to make this thing work better. But it's almost like, what the hell's the point? You know, cut a hole in the back of your Steam Deck because it's better. Put new thermal pads on your VRMs, your MOSFETs, your controller, a little bit on your SSD, and all over your heat pipe. Better. It's just fucking better. Oh my God, is it better? 68, 69, 69, 71. 3,800 RPMs. Look at the difference. 10-degree delta with a drop of fan speed of almost 2,000. Cut a hole in the back of your Steam Deck. I did this for you guys. I created a amazingly intricate air intake system for a Steam Deck, and it doesn't even work. it's hot trash. Luckily, I bought that fan on Amazon. I can return this. I'll probably keep this for other testing. But yeah, it's 12 o'clock. I'm gonna go to bed. Guys, thank you for watching this video. We're gonna continue trying to make it work better. I actually just finished. Oop, was that pointing at my chest? I just actually finished printing out this kind of like diffuser. It goes in the back of the fan like this, and what that does is it helps clean the air that comes into the fan. As you can see, if you look at my PC, and I'll cut this video. This is the longest video ever. Hopefully I can cut it down. I have these cheater fans on here. So what this does is it cleans the air coming in, so it's a more smoother airflow, and then it pushes it down through this other diffuser. I could show you that later. And that basically makes a more pressurized, cleaner airflow for the fan. But other than that, this video, I'm sorry, is ungodly long. And there's going to be a part 2 where we try to make this thing run better. But other than that, my name is Naz, aka DIY Poppy. I'll catch you guys on the next one.